Die Begrüßung, die war überwältigend.
The welcome was overwhelming. We simply went along with everything, and yes, my ears nearly fell off because it was so loud, but it swept us totally away.
Es kann man so wirklich.
It's hard to describe. First I just stood there as if I was made of stone. I thought, is it a dream or is it real? And then I was walking through the Guard of Honor. I really felt like a king.
We have it as a culture that when people come out of the country, they visit us, we give them that warm welcome.
We like visitors. When you come, we take you very important because it is not easy for somebody to live as far as you people came to join us. It is kind of very important. It shows how important Cameroon is. Yeah.
A powerful start to the International Youth Work Camp in Cameroon. The hosts from the Presbyterian Church welcome their international guests. 20 young people from 4 countries have come to Kumba to do something great together. Among them, Leoni and Philipp. This year, the 2 young people decided not to go on a beach holiday, but go on a cultural experience which could not have been any more out of the ordinary. Flashback. 2 weeks before the flight to Cameroon. Philipp is in the university library swatting for his last exam before the trip. The 23-year-old is in his 6th semester studying theology in Tübingen. As part of his studies, he had already dealt with the topic of mission, but was skeptical at first.
Mission zunächst.
At the beginning, mission rang alarm bells in my head. I was skeptical. And then last semester I attended a seminar that dealt more or less with this subject. It confirmed many of the prejudices I had, but then dissipated many others. And then we visited the Basel Mission, and it left such a positive impression on me. I thought I would really like to have some hands-on experience. I'd really like to see what goes on there, what they do, and to what extent.
Ich möchte, wie das dann dort vor Ort läuft, was die wirklich machen, in welchem Maß.
That's why he decided to apply for the camp in Cameroon, at a church which sprang up from the work of the Basel Mission. Philipp wants to gain experience there for his future career as a pastor. For him, this includes taking a look beyond the horizon.
Weltweite Kirche für mich heißt, dass
For me, worldwide church means you don't see the borders that are set down on paper. As a church, you really act beyond all frontiers. So everyone can feel and live the spirit of fellowship, whether country A or B is separated by a frontier or not.
Ganze getrennt wird oder nicht.
Despite the enthusiasm for his studies, the young 23-year-old does not neglect his leisure time. Philipp is a volunteer at the railway mission. He manages church camps for children. And he loves sports. So it's more than practical that his students' residence has its own kayaks. He also knows that leisure time is a luxury, especially when compared to other countries. In his thoughts, he is already in Cameroon.
Ich glaube erstmal, dass sie deutlich weniger Freizeit haben als wir.
I think they have much less free time than we have, because some things simply take longer, such as doing the laundry, which takes us about an hour at home. It takes much longer there because they have to do it by hand. And I also think they have to do much more homework. When I'm free, I really do absolutely nothing for university. I think that school and free time are blurred there. I also think sports play a very big role. Like, they really love playing football and basketball. I guess I'll just have to wait and see what life is really like there. Things I just can't imagine from my European point of view.
A visit to Maureen's home, one of the Cameroonian participants, confirms Philipp's assumptions. Housework instead of free time. The 24-year-old is helping her mother and sisters prepare the meal. Most of the ingredients come from their own garden. They buy only meat and fish on the market. But Maureen cannot imagine being just a housewife and mother. The young Cameroonian has studied law and has ambitions.
Really, I studied law, but what is in me is to become a professor, yeah. teaching in the university, like a lecturer in the university. So I really admire that. Being a lawyer, like working in a court, it's not really what I want, yeah. My dream is study more because I have to study more. Hopefully, I will not continue my studies here. Yeah, maybe I would like to go out of the country to do my master's, maybe my PhD and so on, yeah. That is why you are called Jehovah.
Singing together makes work go much faster and easier. Most of her songs are about God's love and support, and how He has never let her down or disappointed her.
I have a Father that will never ever fail me. Yeah, music is life. That is how I describe music, because if you discover what was happening, when we sing like that, it makes us faster. Yeah, it makes us go faster, and we don't even think about the work. When you are doing it, you feel relaxed, yes.
Smile, Jesus loves me.
Oh yes,
I will smile, oh, Jesus loves me. Hallelujah.
smile, oh, Jesus loves you.
Leonie also does housework with the greatest of ease. Her family does a lot of cooking and baking. Bread doesn't come from the bakery, but from their own oven.
Also ich finde es wichtig, Lebensmittel auch mal selber.
I find it important to make your own food yourself once in a while. Then you know what it means to bake a bread, and it also tastes better when you do it yourself.
After dinner, Leonie likes sitting at her sewing machine. The 21-year-old will soon replace it for one at the studio of the Stuttgart State Theatre. She has decided to start an apprenticeship to become a dressmaker. Her time at school gave her the inspiration for this.
Da ich von der Waldorfschule komme,
As I went to a Waldorf school, we had needlework from the 1st to the 8th grade and did many different things, from knitting, crocheting, cross-stitching, embroidery. We even made a bag, and it was always great fun.
und das hat mir immer viel Spaß gemacht.
But she didn't want to start her apprenticeship straight away. She had to have some time off.
Jetzt das Workcamp ist genau richtig.
Now the Workcamp is just the right thing. You're told exactly what to do at school and you're trained to go in a certain direction. So I decided to get out and about and do something totally different. Experience some adventure.
Abenteuerliches.
So she wanted to get out of the idyllic home life with its hen coop behind the house. Leonie decided to go on the international work camp of the Basel Mission German Branch. The camp in Cameroon is organized in cooperation with the Protestant Church in Baden.
Ich erwarte von der Reise einmal, dass wir Spaß haben.
I'm expecting the trip to be lots of fun. We'll have great memories to take home with us. And I learned something for life. I'll have experiences about how people live in Africa, and that will be useful in my everyday life.
Menschen in Afrika und was kann ich da auch in meinen Alltag mitnehmen.
The closer the departure date, the more nervous she becomes. There are some things that Leonie must absolutely pack in her suitcase.
Von zu Hause muss ich was mitnehmen, weil
I want to take something with me from home, because home for me means security. And I'll need that in a strange world, I think, especially in difficult moments when everything gets too much for me. Then I think of home, and that will give me a sense of security and strength.
zu Hause denken und das gibt mir dann wieder Sicherheit und Kraft.
Philipp already spent several months in Africa, so he's quite relaxed about the whole thing. Well versed, he packs his suitcase and knows the packing list by heart.
Auf jeden Fall die Sonnencreme. Ich bin
Definitely sunscreen. Although I'm used to the climate, the sun's very hot. You have to really protect yourself. Otherwise, I would simply say books and a cushion, so I can sleep wherever I am.
Tropical climate, African food and simple accommodation, that's no problem for him. His thoughts focus more on the people he will meet and work with.
Ich erhoffe mir, dass wirklich eine Vermischung stattfindet.
I hope that everyone will mix together easily, that the people won't separate off into little groups of Germans, Cameroonians or Nigerians, but that there will be true exchange. I hope that real friendships will grow and we can talk openly about things that are really interesting and not just superficial, like what's the church like in your country and in mine, but topics which are of real interest. And then I hope that things will develop so that contacts will last a long time after the trip.
Die Reise hinaus hat.
Now there's no going back. Leoni, Philipp and 4 other participants from Baden-Württemberg start off on their trip to Cameroon. They are accompanied by 2 Cameroon experts, Regina Dive and Ernst Herold. They will run the work camp on behalf of the Protestant Church in Baden. It's the first morning in Kumba. Everyone is still groggy from the long welcome party the previous night. Now the work camp is ready to start. The people in charge present the project and the program for the next few days. The participants are then asked to say a few words about themselves. It's not at all easy to draw your hometown on the board. Besides the Germans, young people are attending from Nigeria, Ghana and from various regions in Cameroon.
When I heard about the work camp, I really did not know anything about it because I've never attended one before. So I had to ask from the Reverend, the Kumba. So he enlightened me and told me the kind of things we'll be doing.
The first day I came well dressed, I never knew that we were to work. But it was then that they told me that we have to do manual work. So my idea at the beginning, I never knew what work camp was all about. But as for now, I think I have all the ideas, and as you can see, I'm putting all my best to see into it that the work moves successfully.
For Reverend Francis McCumba, the work camp is more than just about the work. The camp marks the start of his church's festivities for the 200th anniversary of the Basel Mission. The first missionaries came to Cameroon in the 19th century. Their work later gave way to the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon.
It's really bringing us down our history to make us remember and to make us see in today's history how our birth was begun and the reality of the Christian faith, how it was able to move from the other side of the world to this other part of Africa, and how the gospel cuts across cultures.
The aim of the work camp is to join people from different cultures. But first the group must get to know each other. They pair off and interview each other to find out as much as possible about the other person. Very quickly the participants realize how different their lives, cultures and everyday routines are.
Es war richtig spannend.
It was really exciting to talk to her about her experiences and her life here. I know her the best so far and she has already impressed me.
Was mich erstaunt hat,
We talked about what he wants to do after finishing school. Teacher is his first choice. If that doesn't work out, he wants to work in a mine to search for gold. That was totally new for me. And third, what everybody knows about Africa, he wants to build wells, which I also like.
Brunnen bauen, was ich auch schön finde.
So when we exchange our ideas like that, we have equally a good knowledge of what Germany, the lifestyle of Germans, and they equally know the lifestyle of Cameroonians.
And then it's time to work. The walls in the youth center of the church in Kumba have to be plastered, the floor laid and the stage built. Very strenuous work.
So die erste
For the first half an hour I thought, boah, do I have to do this all day? But when you get a hang of it, it's okay.
Hier sind die Arbeitsvorgänge einfach komplett anders.
Here, the way people work is totally different. They do a lot more with their hands, whereas at home we have a wheelbarrow, some sort of excavator to dig up the soil. Here they do everything by hand with spades, and they take turns.
Ist eine ganz neue Erfahrung für mich.
Das Spannendste.
The most exciting thing was plastering. It just didn't work for me. It really is a job for craftsmen.
Oh je.
Oh yeah, plastering the walls. That was really hard. I envy those who can do it.
It was difficult, very difficult, because I saw myself when I want to do it, everything fall off.
Nobody's perfect, even the Bible says that. I would say they are putting in their best, and their best, I would say, it is the best, because I can see that they are really trying. I know most of the work here in Africa is not like that in Germany, but I can see that they are really trying, they are putting in all their best, and it is going. We thank God for that.
Religious pedagogue Ernst Herold also pitches in on the building site. He has been managing work camps like this one for many years. He knows exactly how things are done in Cameroon.
Man arbeitet gemeinsam.
People work together. They share the success. They also deal with difficulties as they happen on the building site. How to complete the building and get the job done. And at the end of the day, they talk about the work, about what they experienced, what went wrong, what went right, and above all, when everything is finished, the success is visible and they can celebrate. That's how it goes in a work camp.
After work is finished, there's time to get to know each other better. This is not to keep everyone occupied, it's an essential part of the camp strategy, as co-manager Regina Dive well knows.
This is a group who did not know each other before. It's important to help them to get over the uncertainties that crop up during the get-to-know phase. We loosen up the situation a little playfully. That's why the game phases are important.
Spielphasen zwischendurch immer ganz wichtig.
The participants live with host families in Kumba. There's no bus to the church grounds. Many are driven by their families, others must take a taxi. But there's no yellow Mercedes as in Germany, just a battered out motorcycle.
Ja, das ist ein Abenteuer für sich.
It's an adventure to drive here by motorbike. In the rainy season it's even worse, with all the potholes full of mud. Still, it's one of the highlights of the day. So far it worked out well. I'm always frightened the motorbike will slide off the road. But it hasn't happened yet. And yes, it's a whole lot of fun.
Es macht Riesenspaß.
Experiencing new things close up, discovering a foreign culture at first hand. That's what the participants at the work camp decided for. Still, one or the other culture shock is inevitable.
Am Anfang hatte ich schon eine Panik, jetzt da mitzugehen.
At the beginning, I was almost in panic to go along with them, simply not knowing what to expect. How big is the family? Where would I sleep? But when I got there, it was nice. They welcomed me so warmly, and I think they were totally proud to have a German girl sitting on their sofa.
Sitzen zu haben.
Ich habe ein gutes Bett.
I have a good bed and the food is delicious. She cooks very, very well. I'd say you can definitely manage.
Hält's aus auf jeden Fall.
Philipp already lived for 7 months in Tanzania, so he's familiar with many things. He's also lucky. His family belongs to the upper class with 2 refrigerators, computer, TV and a big car. Philipp enjoys the luxury of a shower and running water.
Ich weiß von anderen.
I know of others in our group who live more frugally. For example, they have a bucket shower and the food is cooked over an open fire. These things really show you the differences.
The only thing he doesn't like are the hierarchical structures. As guest, he is waited on hand and foot. The children hardly dare to speak to him, and it would be unthinkable to help in the house.
Einerseits ist natürlich liebevoll gemeint.
On the one hand, I know they mean well. Everybody likes to be served and pampered. But I would love to help, and it's a bit unusual to just sit around the whole time and have to let them serve me because I'm not allowed to help.
Weil einfach man nicht helfen darf.
Maureen grew up in these structures. For her, family does not mean hierarchy, but togetherness.
Our family, it is something so great because it gives you hope that you have people around you that you can care for, you can think about. It gives you hope that really I am not alone in this world. Yeah.
On Sunday morning you go to church. That's a matter of course for Christians in Cameroon. The churches are full, even if the service lasts over 3 hours. Whether young or old, the whole family goes together. Also, the work camp volunteers change their working clothes for the camp t-shirt and attend the worship service in Kumba.
Worship services in Cameroon are totally different. The women just stand up suddenly, start clapping, singing and dancing.
Die haben richtig.
They really had themselves a party. They sang out loud. The church was full. I was impressed.
Grundsätzlich begeistert es mich ganz arg.
I am impressed by their deeply rooted faith, despite their difficult lives. And they never put anything into question. Their faith gives them real strength. It's a real source for them. I find that marvelous, and I would say we in Europe are quicker to doubt and question things. I think we could learn from them.
Ich nehme mit,
What I'll take back with me is that a worship service should also inspire people so that they love coming to church. It needn't to be so dry and stringent as is often the case in Germany. There's much more we could do.
Back at work, everyone pitches in together. Meanwhile, they have decided to leave the plastering to the experts, but the cement has to be mixed and distributed by bucket chains. This calls for teamwork and a group that sticks together.
Even the Bible tells us that how pleasant it is when brothers and sisters come together in harmony, for there is fullness and joy in their midst. And when we come together like this, my idea that I have and the idea that a German person have, the Ghanaian and a Nigerian, when we put them together, we see into it that the workforce will be like improved. And what we are expected to do, we are going to do it successfully and as fast as possible.
Sometimes I get the feeling the group is growing closer together. Then I noticed more than once that when the Africans talk among themselves, I just can't keep up with them. And it's difficult to find a way to join in.
Ja, das ist nicht ganz so einfach. Die Kultur ist ja schon ziemlich fremd.
The culture is of course very different. The working methods are strange, the way of thinking is different. And working with Cameroonian young people can sometimes be just a little bit difficult. But it takes about a week. Working and eating together, spending free time and playing together. Then it happens. They get closer and then the group just integrates.
Und ist dann eigentlich voll dabei.
The conclusions made by his Cameroonian colleague are also positive. The work planned at the youth center in Kumba is finished. The participants will return home with new skills and experiences.
In this encounter between this Cameroonian youth, the German youth and the Nigerian youth, it makes them to see the perspective of the other people. What do they think about life? How do they articulate their aspiration? What is it that they are able to learn and express? Because, for example, with us in Cameroon, it is sometimes difficult for somebody to tell you, oh, this thing hurts, or here I am not very comfortable. But with their encounter, especially with the Cameroonian youth, with the German youth and Nigerian youth, our Cameroonian youth have learned to say yes when it is yes and no when it is no. So this is one of the very great lessons the Cameroonian youths have been able to learn from this encounter with German, Nigerian and Ghanaian youths.
After a long drive and 17 hours on the plane, the German group lands back in Stuttgart. Time to say goodbye. But before that, just one more question. How was it?
Not this question. Awesome. Can you ask again?
Ja, super toll.
Kaum in Worte zu fassen.
There's no way to describe it. Too many impressions. I can't put it into words yet. It has to settle first. But it was very, very good.
Sehr, sehr schön.
Am Anfang.
At the beginning, I went there without knowing anything. I did not know what to expect. Now I know something about the culture and how people live down there and what counts the most.
Drauf ankommt.
Ich glaube, das sind nicht so einzelne Momente.
It's nothing particular that sticks. It's the things that join you together as a group. The comments that were always repeated, or the songs we sang together. Whenever we traveled, the Cameroonians would start singing. So after a time, their songs were ingrained in our memories. I think it's more the everyday moments which will remain in our minds.